play the Steelers. What are your thoughts on this one, Vish?
Yeah, so for the Steelers, it's a must win. And we talked about the Steelers before. And for me, it's been the two things that have been the biggest factors in the Steelers this season. I'm not even going to get into their offensive play calling, which is horrendous. And, Big Ben has not been Big Ben. It looks like that Tommy John surgery has affected his arm strength
Mhm.
and stuff. But the two biggest things is one, the fact that other teams have had COVID breakouts on weeks they've had to play the Steelers. So the Steelers haven't had a proper bye week. So you can see that their players are exhausted and the attrition is starting to get to them. And number two, it's the injuries. Like their defense is not that defense anymore. When you lose a player like Bud Dupree, who's one of the better edge players in the NFL, and Devin Bush, who's a baller, and you lose players of that caliber, of course your defense is going to start to get worse, especially when it gets tired. And that's what we're seeing happening to them. They're unable to run the ball. So their offense is one-dimensional, and it's one-dimensional, which means just throwing to three guys on short passes. And I don't think those three wide receivers are that great. I would actually rank them as Claypool, Deontay Johnson second, and Juju third. I think Juju's been wildly overrated based on one good season playing on the other side of Antonio Brown. So there's a lot of problems with the Steelers. This is a must-win. I'm really interested to see how they stop the run, because Jonathan Taylor has started to come along, and the Colts are quietly picking up steam. We know how good their defense is, right? DeForest Buckner, Darius Leonard, two of the best defensive players in the NFL, and they rush the passer and play zone coverage and don't give up big plays and make you dink and dunk, which is kind of what the Steelers want to do, but they're going to be aggressive with their defensive line and their defensive backs. And so I on paper, just looking at the matchup, I don't know how the Steelers are going to win this game, but this is Mike Tomlin, who's their coach, and this is the Pittsburgh Steelers organization with a ton of pride, a ton of history, and this just feels like a game that they'll somehow grind out and pull out and get their season back on track. But looking at the matchup, I can't see a way that the Steelers are going to win this game.
Yeah, I think the not being able to run the ball for the Steelers was a problem. That's been more recent, right? James Conner in the beginning of the year looked great. He's been injured. Benny Snell their run game's just not really that good. Let's face the facts.
It's not good schematically. It's not good well blocked.
So they have three pretty good receivers, but none of them are like super, super good deep threats that Ben is like confident in going to. I'd say Claypool is probably the best out of those guys in getting vertical, right? And he was able to do that against the Eagles when he exploded for 4 touchdowns. But when I watched the Steelers, I don't know, that play against the Bengals where Juju just got blown up, right, by Von Bell. Like, that's their offense. They go short routes. They try to run the ball, but they really can't. So I think they're going to have troubles with the Colts defense. Buckner is going to kill whoever he's going against because it's DeForest Buckner. And I think Matt Eberflus, so he's one of the head coach hot candidates right now. He's the DC of the Colts. I think he's going to get up a good scheme, and this is a huge game for them because I think right now a lot of people are expecting them to win. The odds on them winning were 1.5. Or the spread was 1.5, and it moved to 3 pretty quickly. So people are betting Colts gonna win big, and I think they will. Their offense is picking up steam. Rivers can do enough. We'll see.
Yeah, as long as Phillip Rivers doesn't have a Phillip Rivers heavy turnover game, I just don't see anything for the Steelers here. Like, their pass rush and creative blitzes can be neutralized by the fact that Rivers has seen it all, and the Colts have a great offensive line, and they're going to be willing to run the ball. Frank Reich's a great game planner, so they're going to have a good offensive game plan to move the ball. And how is the Steelers' offense going to be able to function against the Colts? They can't throw the ball down the field, and the pass rush is going to whip that offensive line, which is not that good anymore. Like, the days of Villanueva, DeCastro and Pouncey all being Pro Bowl level players are past them. They're not the same. Everybody's kind of oldish. I don't want to overreact because of all the factors I said before that the Steelers have had to deal with this season, which I think have been underrated in how much they've affected them. But I just don't see a way Pittsburgh pulls out this game.
And the Colts have been really good as I've won their last 6 games. They lost to the Titans when half their defense was on COVID, so I'm not gonna hold that against them. Tomlin losing 4 in a row. Can you see that happening? It looks like it might. I don't know. We'll see.